to say, for example, you are talking about the employer, for example, and or you're talking about the job that you don't like, the job situations, and you say he has arrived. Then what? You mean the employer. فَتُرِيدُ أَن تُخْفِيَهُ Yani you want to hide it for that person. Because here min dawa'i al-hadf, why if you tell somebody to come, everybody will see it, isn't it? If you say aqbil, yani come here. Do you understand what I mean? Then the hadf is in the word but not in the fi'l. So what is the point? Do you understand what I mean? No. So what? Okay. So there is aqbala, yani if you say the person has arrived. No. Because you don't want anybody else to know who or what you are talking about. No? People do that very often, to not mention someone in the presence of others, but these two people might know. ضيق المقام إما لتوجع, يعني because there is not enough time to say it, or just because it is not, you're not in a position either physically or mentally or whatever it might be to explain it in detail. قال لي كيف أنت قلت عليل. He said, who are you? I answered, Alil, sick. He didn't say, I am sick. أنا عليل. سهر دائم وحزن طويل. يعني سهر دائم وحزن طويل. يعني always sleepless nights and ongoing sadness. So قال لي كيف أنت قلت عليل. So the shahid here is Alil, that he didn't say أنا عليل, but he just referred to the word sick. How are you? Sick. And not saying I'm sick. Okay. وَإِمَّا لِخَوْفِ فَوَاتِ فُرْصَةٍ, or because you are afraid that something might escape you. Like نَحُو قَوْلِ الصَّيَّادِ, like the fisherman, or sorry, fisherman, he doesn't fish غزال, does he? Like the hunter, yani who says غزال. Yeah, how would we say غزال? A gazelle, right? So if you were to say gazelle, you're not going to say, oh, look at your right at 10 o'clock, there is a beautiful gazelle. And by the time you said it, she's gone. No? So, غزال. وَالتَّعْمِيم بِاخْتِصَارٍ. No? Yani that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions all of the ibad, or He mentions something, a lot missing? Okay, then just mention it.
Previously there was after
What? Okay, read. Okay, so just read from there where I skipped.
Did you skip that one?
You
وتأتي الإنكار عند الحاجة نحو لعيم خسيس بعد ذكر شخص معين.
Okay, so read.
That's
okay, read again.
وتأتي الإنكار عند الحاجة.
Why are we talking about inkar? It's under the way al-hadf. Okay. Thank you. So where did I skip? From where?
You did one, then you missed a lot first, then you did one, then you missed a few.
Subhanallah, it's ajib. I didn't find the book, this same book. Yeah. Anyway.
تأتي الإنكار عند الحاجة نحو لئيم خسيس بعد ذكر شخص معين.
Naam. Okay, so sometimes when you've mentioned a person, then you can do hadf without mentioning him, but just mentioning his state or description. Naam. Like for example, قال كيف أنت عليل. That's an example where you are just sticking to the description or state, and here that would be the same. If you have mentioned somebody, for example, with negative traits, or you mention someone and you say a shaitan, naam shaitanun. So that might be a reason as well. Yes.
التنبيه على تعيين المحذوف ولو ادعى نحو خالق كل شيء ووهاب الألوف.
أيوة. So.
It's trying to focus on a certain point about the person who's mentioned. You're not specifying by name. So for Allah here, instead of referring to him as Allah, Allah is خالق كل شيء. You just refer to him as خالق كل شيء.
Exactly. خالق كل شيء. So you're not referring to him as Allah, but as the creator of everything, and this then excludes anybody else. So you, by attributing something to something, you are specifying it in such a way that you're not in need of generalizing it in a way that everybody would. No. Okay.
واختبار تنبه السامع أو مقدار تنبهه نحو مستفاد من نور الشمس وواسطة عقد الكواكب.
Okay.
I didn't understand.
No? Read it again.
واختبار تنبه السامع أو مقدار تنبهه نحو نوره مستفاد من نور الشمس وواسطة عقد الكواكب.
Okay, like what he's saying here is that this is a sentence you would give to the student so that he now, you are not mentioning about whom you are talking, aren't you? You're not mentioning about who you are speaking. So you are now testing the student, like, who am I talking about? Nuruhu. So the first question would be men, because الذي وصف بهذا الأمر ليس بمذكور. Yani the one that you are talking about has not been mentioned. So then you want the student to say either it's Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and so forth. Is that clear? So sometimes you do حذف للاختبار. Like, who was the man whom the Prophet ﷺ said about this and that. So, but anyway, yes.
Then it was ضيق المقام, we did that one. Then it's والتعظيم والتحقير.
Yes, تعظيم التحقير.
لصونه عن لسانك.
لصونه
عن لسانك أو صون لسانك عنه.
نعم. So look how beautiful this is. Say it again.
والتعظيم والتحقير لصونه عن لسانك أو صون لسانك عنه.
And صون لسانك عنه أو صونه عن لسانك. Who is he talking about? One is so that your tongue isn't occupied with him, and the other one is so that he's not the object of your speech. So who is whom? Okay, continue reading.
فالأول نحو نجوم سماء والثاني نحو قوم إذا أكلوا أخفوا حديثهم.
Okay. So explain.
Okay, so there's certain cases where the thing you're speaking about is so magnificent that you're not worthy of speaking about it.
Yes.
So you use metaphor or something to refer to it. Like
Yes.
the Prophet ﷺ or something. You say al-bashar or something like that.
Yes.
Bringing his name to your tongue. Or the thing is so inferior or belittled that you don't want it to be mentioned.
Ahsant.
So instead of referring it to by name, you sort of allude to it, you indicate towards it without mentioning it by name.
Is that understood on the other side? Okay, continue.
والمحافظة على وزن أو سجع فالأول نحن بما عندنا وأنت بما عندك راض والرأي مختلف.
Okay, so what is he trying to say?
So he's leaving things out in order to keep the balance of the pattern.
Yes.
Of the poetry.
Okay, and where is that?
Maybe نحن بما عندنا راض وأنت بما عندك راض. So he dropped the first راض to say نحن بما عندنا وأنت بما عندك راض.
نعم. نعم. بالضبط. Good.
والثاني نحو ما ودعك ربك وما قالا. It should be ما ودعك ربك وما قالاك.
We can't say it should be.
Oh, sorry. It would.
From a linguistic point of view, it could have been this. But the reason why, يعني ما ودعك ربك وما قالا, يعني why do we say قالا? Why? Where's the kaf gone? وما قالاك, or what would it be? قالاك. Why is it not mentioned? What we say is, some of the scholars would say this is للمحافظة على النظم القرآني. I don't agree. I don't agree that the Quran should have any nazm. And one of the reasons why is because it's not shi'r, it's not saja', it's kalamullah. So if it's not mentioned, it's not because of the nazm, it's because of a meaning. Okay, so now if you're going to just look at وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى وَلَلْآخِرَةُ, what is it? Continue. رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى فَلَا تَقْهَرْ. So where's the nazm now? New nazm. Continue. فَلَا تَقْهَرْ فَحَدِّثْ. So where's the nazm? So now iddi'a al-nadhm here doesn't make sense because there are three different endings, if you can say it like that. So if the kaf here is not mentioned, like we can say from a linguistic point of view, because Quran is Arabi, right? So the nadhm is something extra above Arabic, if you understand what I mean. So it's because the kaf is understood by the waw in between. ما ودعك ربك وما قلاك. This is one of the meanings. And another meaning might be, what is the meaning of qala? ما ودعك is your Lord didn't say you goodbye, right? He didn't leave you. What is the meaning of qala? Look it up. ما ودعك ربك وما قلا. What's the meaning of qala? So I want this to be an active class, right? So I'm not just reading and explaining, I want you to participate. ما ودعك ربك وما قلا. What's the meaning of qala? It's in Surah Al-Duha on your phones. You know, what is very important, Asim, is that when referring to the nadhm, which very often happens, they say this is للمحافظة على النظم, right? When we say that the reason is muhafadha على النظم, we will then very often exclude the bayan behind it. And the bayan is the essence, not the nadhm. So if the kaf is not mentioned, it's because of bayan, it's because of balagha. And the nadhm can be secondary to it, but it will never be the primary reason for something, because that's not the goal of the Quran. So what is wama qala? Displease. What? Hate, displease, dislike. Okay. Ma wadda'aka, the kaf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't mention the kaf because He doesn't even want the word dislike to be connected to referring to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see this? Ma wadda'aka, I didn't say you goodbye. But one day revelation will stop. So I didn't stop revealing to you. So there's nothing wrong with this, because one day it will be connected to you. But as for qala, disliking, I don't even want the kaf al-mukhatab, and the kaf referring to the person in second, how do you say it? The second person, I even don't want this to happen. Ma wadda'aka rabbuka wa ma qala. Safi. So the waw is implying that it would be the same. This is the way we understand it from a grammatical point of view, but not the word structure is not given due to that very reason. So, and not because of the nadam. Okay?
Was that the song?
What?
Was that because of a reason?
No, so for here, the Sheikh saying that the author said it's to maintain the balance.
Yes.
So Sheikh saying the balance is the secondary.
Yeah, and I'm not contradicting the people, but I believe in the school that it's not for the nadam.
Secondary benefit.
It's a secondary benefit, but it's not the first goal. In Quran and Arabiya, it's to make a point. Everything in the Quran is for a reason, not just for the sound of it. And the miracle is that the sound goes with the reason, but it's not the reason that goes with the sound. No. Is that clear? So always take this. When they say, muhafadha al-nadhm, look directly for the reason, and then you will be amazed. Anyway, continue. Don't say bi-ikhtisar, because it's hamzatul wasal. Yes.
والله يدعو إلى دار السلام أي جميع عباده لأن حذف المعمول
أي جميع عباده صح؟ أي يدعو جميع عباده. Yes. Okay, so in very brief, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and Allah invites towards the house without flaws. So now if you're going to look, He didn't say whom He is inviting. Why? Because here there's ta'mim bikhtisar. And the fact that it's not mentioned, it means everybody. Unless there is another verse somewhere or ayah defining whom. But even the non-Muslims are invited. Too. But now you can say, but is it then also the animals? No, because the da'wah la takunu illa lil-aqil. The da'wah la takunu illa lil-aqil. So we say, are the angels? No, because the da'wah la takunu illa lil-aqil al-mukallaf. يعني and the it's مكلف باتباع الشرع, which the angels are not submitted to our shara, if you understand what I mean. So this is why we understand, well, it's in the light of وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. يعني it's for the jinn and mankind. وَاللَّهُ يَدْعُو أي الإنسان وَالْجِنِّ إِلَى دَارِ السَّلَامِ. No. يعني كلهم. Without any, without, he even invited Iblis, everybody was invited towards paradise. Continue.
والأدب نحو قول الشاعر قد طلبنا فلم نجد لك في السودد والمجد والمكارم مثلا.
نعم. So what did he say? What was it for?
والأدب.
Al-adab. نعم, good conduct or character. Okay, and then he said?
قد طلبنا فلم نجد لك في السودد والمجد والمكارم مثلا.
So what is it? Where's the hadf here? And what's the translation? قد طلبنا.
We sought or we looked.
Yes.
We did not find anyone like you in leadership and majesty and in noble character.
Okay, where's the hadf here?
He's saying we looked for someone like you.
Yes.
قد طلبنا لك مثلا.
نعم.
ولم نجد لك في السودد والمجد والمكارم.
And why is that? Because if you were to say, I look for someone like you, then all of a sudden the adab is gone. But if you say, we were looking and we didn't find anybody like you, meaning that I wasn't trying to find someone like you because there isn't. I was trying to look for someone with good character. So we were looking and we came to the conclusion, Nam, that what? There is even nobody near to you. So this is why the hadf here is qimmatul adab. Nam? Like if you tell your mother, I was looking for a mother like you and I found nobody like you, she will say, well, why were you looking for someone like me then? If you think I'm so perfect. But by leaving it out, mother, I was looking around and subhanAllah, there's no one like you. You see the difference? So the hadf can be qimmatu al-adab. Now, continue.
وتنزيل المتعدي منزلة اللازم بعدم تعلق الغرض بالمعمول نحو هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون.
It's a rhetorical question. So for which the answer can only be yes or no. So if you say هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون, and are those who know and those who don't know alike, it's not a question, it's a rhetorical question, and is no. No, they're not alike. Okay. Now, continue.
ويعد من الحذف إسناد.
لا, not يعد.
ويعد.
Yeah, it's مبني للمجهول.
ويعد.
Yep.
ويعد من الحذف إسناد الفعل إلى نائب الفاعل فيقال حذف الفاعل للخوف منه أو عليه أو للعلم به أو الجهل نحو سرق المتاع وخلق الإنسان ضعيفا.
So sometimes the fa'il, the doer, is not mentioned because either out of respect or out of fear or because he is known. So when you say خلق الإنسان ضعيفا, the human being has been created as a weak creature. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not mentioned here. Why?
Because it's disrespectful.
And also it's known. Because ليس هناك خالق سوى الله سبحانه وتعالى. There's no other creator apart from Allah. So you don't have to say this. And also here, because the ضعف في الإنسان, the weakness in the human being is the fact that he's not connected to his creator. So it's like it's saying خلق الإنسان ضعيفا ولكن خلقه الله وهو مع الله قوي. So here the human being has been created as a weak being, meaning if he's weak, then let him connect to the creator. You see? So this is why it is mentioned as such, because in other places Allah says, very often He says خلق الإنسان من عجل خلق. So that the person would understand, أنا on my own I am weak, with Allah I am قوي. Is that clear? So خلق الإنسان ضعيفا is inspiring this, and that's the Balaghi reason behind it. Now, continue. نعم. Continue. So it is impossible to say all of the words in one single time. There will always be words that come first and words that come second and third. So now when a word, and especially in Quran and Sunnah, this is very important. Whenever a word is mentioned before another word, it's always because of a reason. So even in the ad'iyah of the Prophet ﷺ, where he first mentions, for example, al-kasal, and then he mentions laziness, and then another word, it's because of a reason. It's not just the waw litartib, the waw that follows each other, it's for the reason of just summing things up, is not without a reason in Quran and Sunnah. Is that clear? Okay. So, بل لابد من تقديم بعض الأجزاء as I just said وتأخير البعض وليس شيء منها في نفسه أولى بالتقدم من الآخر لاشتراك جميع الألفاظ من حيث هي ألفاظ في درجة الاعتبار فلا بد لتقديم هذا على ذاك من داع يوجبه. He says there is no word on its own because of its meaning which should be given priority over another word. Just because of the word, apart of course from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so forth. So he says, so when we mention a word before another word or after another word, it's what? It's for a reason. Like if I say ذهب محمد or محمد ذاهب, there should be a reason. رأيت بيتا جميلا بيتا جميلا رأيته. So you are now going to turn around things because in the Arabic language and also in English there is a what? A reason for it. In the Arabic it is not by intonation. Like if I were to say give me the pen. Okay, give me the pen. Nothing else. So by saying something and emphasizing on it with my voice, it can be even sarcasm. Of course I am. Everybody understands that you're not, right? But in Arabic, these points are made by the structure of the sentence. So we sometimes, when we speak Arabic, we think that now they will understand that this is sarcasm. They won't. Because they look at the sentence structure and not at the intonation of the voice. Is that clear? So we're going to make points by ordering the words in a certain order. Okay. فَمِنَ الدَّوَاعِي what are the reasons that one would give precedence over this word to be mentioned first over another? التشويق إلى المتأخر إذا كان المتقدم مشعرا بغرابة. He says one is for you to long for that which is not mentioned at the beginning. Like the Prophet ﷺ very often did these kind of things. He said like, should I mention you what Allah loves most? And then people, they would long for the answer. So even though that this is not the correct 100% example for this, but just to give you the general understanding. وَالَّذِي حَارَتِ الْبَرِيَّةُ فِيهِ and one of the reasons why one would do this is either to make them long for it, or either because that which you are about to mention is something strange and bizarre. So that the people will even be more shocked when you say it. وَالَّذِي حَارَتِ الْبَرِيَّةُ فِيهِ. Translate, Asim.
Okay, so for these ones, I didn't get a chance to look at them this week.
But you can.
I'm going to give it a go. So, and that thing that astonishes creation.
Harat is not really astonishing. What? What?
Return to
No.
This is a hayran, to be like bewildered or something.
Bewildered, yeah.
And that thing that bewilders.
It's also sometimes like you look at something and you don't understand it. Like how can this be? No? So وَالَّذِي حَارَتِ الْبَرِيَّةِ. What's الْبَرِيَّة?
Bariya means the best of, like the Prophet Khair al-Bariya.
Yeah, creation. Yes. وَالَّذِي حَارَتِ الْبَرِيَّةُ فِيهِ.
حيوان مستحدث من جماد, an animal that comes back or is created from matter.
Yes.
Nothingness. No, not nothingness.
No. Jamad is, you have liquid and you have solid. No. And the jamad here is referring to clay that we have been created from, or in this, it can be also referring to the camel which was made out of stone. No? So وَالَّذِي حَارَتِ الْبَرِيَّةُ فِيهِ حَيَوَانٌ مُسْتَحْدَثٌ مِنْ جَمَادِ. وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. So that which
strange or thing
that which bewildered creation is an animal that was created out of
Matter or solid matter.
solid matter or clay or stone, whatever it may be. So what is happening now? Well, when he just says وَالَّذِي حَارَتِ الْبَرِيَّةُ فِيهِ, yani, would you like to know what really surprises people? Look, you want to know, right? This is the way that we are created. And then an animal which was created from a solid matter. So this is the strange thing. So this is tashweeq, and at the same time it is what? It is mentioning the strange thing at the end. وَتَعْجِيلُ الْمَسَرَّةِ أَوْ الْمَسَاءَ. Translate that.
To
You want to be quick in giving the glad tidings or bad tidings. So, نحو العفو عنك صدر به الأمر. Like somebody is waiting, am I going to receive the death penalty or not? And now you're that kind of joker that comes in and you say, Wallahi akhi subhanallah, qaddar Allah wa ma sha'a fa'al. And this person will die of a heart attack, right? So the first thing you will say, freedom, no, is that which you are being given. So this is ta'jilu al-masarrah, meaning the glad tiding. You don't want to do this. And this is also of the sunnah. In a sunnah there is no deviation to get to the point when you want to tell somebody something nice. It's immediately. Making people happy is something you need to do very quickly. No? And then also al-masa'a, al-qasas, hakama bihi al-qadi. For example, life for a life is that which the qadi has decided. Okay? Next one.
كون متقدم محق
متقدم.
متقدم
نعم.
محق الإنكار والتعجب نحو بعد طول التجربة تنخدع بهذه الزخارف.
When you want to rebuke someone or you want to criticize someone, you are first going to mention what? The reason why you are rebuking him for. Like أبعد طول التجربة, after all this time, let us just say it like this, like this experience, the time and so forth, تنخدع بهذه الزخارف, you are still being deceived by these what? Adornments. And zakharif can also be in words, treacherous words. It can be the things that you beautify a house with, is zakharif as well. So anyway, are you still being deceived after all this time by this and that? While you could actually say, أبي هذه الزخارف تنخدع بعد طول التجربة. Now you could reverse it, right? So the reason why you are doing this is because you want to make clear that you are astonished that the person in question is still in a certain state, for example. Okay, next one.
سبيل الترقي أي الإتيان بالعام أولا ثم الخاص بعده لأن العام إذا ذكر بعد الخاص لا يكون له فائدة. نحو هذا الكلام صحيح فصيح بليغ فإذا قلت فصيح بليغ لا تحتاج إلى ذكر صحيح وإذا قلت بليغ لا تحتاج إلى ذكر صحيح ولا فصيح.
So he says that you will mention the khas ba'd al-am.
Like evolution in speech.
Yeah, evolution. So we have in the Quran, for example, قُلْ مَنْ كَانَ عَدُوًّا لِلَّهِ وَمَلَائِكَتِهِ وَجِبْرِيلَ وَمِيكَالَ. The one who is an enemy to Allah and His angels and Jibreel and Mikael. So now, what am I doing? If I were to say the one who is an enemy of Allah and Jibreel and Mikael and the angels, that would be first the khas of the am, isn't it? The specification and then the generalization, which would include Jibreel and Mikael or Mikaela. So but here when I say قُلْ مَنْ كَانَ who is عَدُو لِلَّهِ وَمَلَائِكَتِهِ وَجِبْرِيلَ وَمِيكَالَ. Now I'm specifying after generalizing. When I specify after generalizing, it is to put the emphasis on that which I have specified. That is the true meaning behind specifying after generalizing, to show that which I'm specifying there's something special about it, right? So anyway, yes. والنص على عموم السلب, are you there?
نحو لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم.
مراعاة ماذا؟
Taking into account the existential order is a good English translation, but I don't know if that, meaning that the causality, so this comes first and then that comes, so you have to do it in sort of causative order.
Like?
لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. So
نعم.
tiredness and then sleep.
Exactly. This like you whenever you want to make a point that there is an evolutionary thing or what did you call it?
Existential order.
An existential order going on. Like first there is slumber and then there is sleep. So this is the reason why you are going to do taqdeem of that which happens first. Like لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Why? Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would, for example, only have mentioned He doesn't sleep, then we might think, okay, but maybe there is slumber. But now He says there is no slumber. If there is no slumber, usually there is also no sleep. But slumber comes before sleep. So now we say He doesn't slumber and there is no sleep. Why are the two then mentioned? Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have said He doesn't slumber, then we might say, well, then He doesn't sleep. Well, why? Because sometimes sleep can come without slumber. And slumber sometimes is not followed up by sleep. So by mentioning both of them, then we have excluded the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gets tired. Is that clear? So just by mentioning one of them, it would not have been sufficient from an aqidah point of view. Because then still some people might come up with waswasa. Well, he doesn't sleep, maybe he slumbers. Well, he slumbers, okay, but maybe he doesn't sleep. Now he doesn't do any of them. Okay, yalla bismillah.
والنص على عموم السلب أو السلب العمومي فالأول يكون بتقديم أداة العموم على أداة النفي نحو كل ذلك لم يكن أي لم يقع هذا ولا ذاك. والثاني يكون بتقديم أداة النفي على أداة العموم نحو لم يكن كل ذلك أي لم يقع المجموع فيحتمل ثبوت البعض ويحتمل نفي كل فرد.
I want you as a homework to look this one up and give the explanation. I want to see how your comprehension is of it, inshallah. It's not very difficult, but I would like you to do that. Some people won't, I don't know if everybody's working on his homework or not. You already gave me an explanation. We had some homework. By when did you need to give this? Hand this over. Did we mention it or not? Today, right? So who brought it? Okay. You can give it to Ines and Ines can give it to me. And from the brothers? Yep. For Balagha. We had two. One was writing and the other one was what? You guys should know. You're the students. I don't have to remember. Excuse me? Yes, Masjid Dirar as well, yes. So and he already gave away a part of it, of Tafsir of Tantawi. Yeah. So who came with homework? You, mashallah, Allah yabarak. Nobody else? Yes, you did? One. Excuse me?
I looked for the other one with the tafsir.
Yes.
All the places I looked at just talk about the story of Balagha.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not familiar with the place.
Which tafsir did you look in?
I looked online. I'm going to see that.
Ah, okay. So there were some of the tafsir I did mention, tafsir, like of Ibn Atiyah, Abu Hayyan. Excuse me? As well, I said, you didn't find anything in all of them?
Well, all the ones I looked at, there was this translation in Arabic.
Okay.
Talk about the story of Balagha and how he.
Yes. And the message of Quba. Okay, khair inshallah. So what we are going to do next time when you do homework, you don't find it, you're going to share the process. Like I looked there, I didn't find it there, and so forth. So at least that I have the conclusion of your small little research. So that would be good inshallah. Okay, heeft iedereen afgegeven? Okay, mocht dat meegeven? Ja.
Yeah, if we can't read Arabic properly, then how would we look at the tafsir and the Arabic tafsir?
There are some English tafsir.
That's fine.
Yes.
See, I looked at Ibn Ashur,
Yes.
and then he goes into isti'ara and kinaya, and then it was just like we
Thank you.
haven't got further enough in the book for me to fully understand what he was trying to say. That's what I found.
Did you write it down?
I was gonna cut the PDF and put it on the group. Then I
Yeah.
just didn't get a chance.
Yeah, you were sick as well, weren't you? No, quite sick.
First.
Yes. Okay, good. So please look this up. Barakallahu fikum. Then following.
وتقوية الحكم إذا كان الخبر فعلا نحو الهلال ظهر وذلك لتكرار الإسناد.
Look that one up as well. Next one. And explain it to me next time. Yes.
والتخصيص نحو ما أنا قلت وإياك نعبد.
Yes. So تخصيص. What is تخصيص? Specification. Like if you say ما أنا قلت, I am not the one who said it. Very often this is used to emphasize on that it's not you but somebody else. But it can also be to define that it's only, for example here, Allah and nobody else. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. It is only you that we worship and nobody else. But in the first one, it is not me, it is somebody else. Is that clear? So مَا أَنَا قُلْتُ, it is not me who said this. It's clear somebody did, but it's definitely not me. So you are excluding yourself. And in the second example, you are excluding others. Is that clear? In إِيَّاكَ, it is only you. And the other one, it is not me. And there's a difference, isn't it? The takhsis is either excluding yourself or excluding others. Now, continue.
For the Quran al-Isnad, does that, are we allowed to speak about now?
Yes, do.
So, it's, if you say ظهر الهلال, that means the moon appeared once, the new moon. Once al-hilal ظهر has to link back to something.
Yes.
And because it's a verb and it's linking back to a mubtada, it's a continuity, meaning
yes.
action happened again and again and again. And
exactly,
again.
Yes.
And that's what it's trying to say.
Yes, that's what he's saying, not trying. He's saying this, yes. No, exactly. So repeat it, please.
وتقوية الحكم إذا كان الخبر فعلا نحو الهلال ظهر وذلك لتكرار الإسناد.
No.
So the connection between the moon and its appearance, if you bring the noun first and then you bring the verb, because the verb will have to refer back to something that is doing the verb.
No.
That connection will continuously, it's like a loop, it just keeps happening again and again and again.
Yes. So when you mention the verse first, the verb first, then what?
When you mention the noun.
No, I said when you mention the verb first, what then? Then it shows that it only happens now, for example, or once. ظهر الهلال, يعني the what? The moon has shown, or the moon cycle, or the new moon has appeared. And if I say الهلال ظهر, then I've mentioned the noun first. So now this means what? It's a continuity. So that would be also one of the importances of giving preference to, or choosing to first mention the verb and then the noun, or vice versa. Okay.
والمحافظة على وزن وسجع فالأول نحو إذا نطق السفيه فلا تجبه فخير من إجابته السكوت.
السكوت, نعم. Read it again.
إذا نطق السفيه فلا تجبه.
No, the whole.
والمحافظة على وزن وسجع فالأول نحو إذا نطق السفيه فلا تجبه فخير من إجابته السكوت.
No. So here it's because of the seja, it's because of the rhyme, all the words, being in harmony. So the Arabs do that very often. Sometimes they go against grammar to stick to the wazn of the of the poem. So here he said,
when the foolish person speaks, don't answer him, because better than answering him is silence.
Okay, so where is the taqdeem and ta'khir?
السكوت خير من إجابته not شكر, but it could be.
No, here you can because it's not Quran. Okay, so say it again.
إذا نطق السفيه فلا تجبه.
When a foolish person speaks, then don't answer him.
فخير من إجابته
Because better than answering is silence. And it should be silence is better than answering him. You see? But here, and why is he doing this then? Why is he doing taqdeem and ta'khir?
Because of, he said, for the pattern.
For the pattern, not for another reason. It's just to stick to the pattern and the structure of his rhyme. No. Okay.
والثاني نحو خذوه فغلوه ثم الجحيم صلوه ثم في سلسلة ذرعها 70 ذراعا فاسلكوه.
So, from a language point of view, we could have said what? Look at the last one. Look at the last.
Could it be the others? خذوه فغلوه ثم صلوه
الجحيم. Go further.
ثم في سلسلة
ثم في سلسلة ذرعها 70 ذراعا.
ثم فاسلكوه في سلسلة.
نعم. ثم اسلكوه فيه. نعم. Is that clear? And why is that?
Well, it's going to have a primary reason that's to do with the bayan that we'll have to think about.
Okay. No. I mean, why from a grammatical point of view?
Hassan.
Okay.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I need to.
The brothers who are present here, you should know that in this class, I'm not explaining. I want you to do the majority of thinking, right? So it is really for you to break your head. But anyway, in this verse, like we said at the end, it could have been ثُمَّ اسْلُكُوهُ فِي سِلْسِلَةٍ instead of ثُمَّ فِي سِلْسِلَةٍ. So what is the grammar of فِي سِلْسِلَةٍ? Is it what is it? And does that usually comes first or does that come later? Asim? Comes later. So you see, from a grammatical point of view, it comes later, but it has been mentioned first. Okay, and there is a reason. And what was the reason that he gave here? Asim.
He's saying muhafadha ala wazn.
Muhafadha ala wazn. But what did we say?
Well, I think it's to do. Well, I don't know what it is for sure, but I think it's to do with the hasan.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's done in order to sort of specify.
Explain people what hasr is.
Hasr is like iyaka na'budu.
Mm-hmm.
To sort of specify who the thing is happening to, or where it's happening, or how it's happening.
So meaning here,
make an exception, really. That's what hasr means.
Mm-hmm. So to put them in chains and into nothing else, is that what you are saying? Okay. So anyway, from an Arabic point of view, the jar and majroor would be mentioned after. But here it was mentioned first because of a reason. But what we say, it is not the wazn, it is not saja, it is not the nadhm, because I believe that that's secondary in the Quran. Done. So there is a balaghi reason for it. No? And the reason here is a takhweef, and also that to show them that the moment the command will be given, it will happen immediately. No? So they it's like it both goes together. It's not like ثُمَّ اسْلُكُوهُ, yani give him time and now take him. ثُمَّ فِي سِلْسِلَةٍ ذَرْعُهَا, yani there is not even the time, and also showing that the angels that have to do this know what they have to do. Nam, is that clear? They're ready. So this is a takhweef. Nam, wa tarheeb. So the reason here is a takhweef wa tarheeb, because this being mentioned shows that there will be musri'ina. Nam, so al-amr wal-ma'mur yakunu fi anin wahid. Is that clear? So and when the Arabs would hear this, they would feel the horror and the swiftness of this amr being followed up. Is that clear? So no, for me, no nadhm, no nothing. No. دواع خاصة. نعم.
دواع خاصة لأنه إذا تقدم أحد ركني الجملة تأخر الآخر فهما متلازمان.
نعم متلازمان. نعم. So for me, as I said, yani, always look for a reason. Now, when scholars say it's nadhm, it's this, it's that. Now you understood the balagha of it, right, Asim? Yes. When we finish all of this, then we are going over the Quran and we're going to practice everything that we saw. So I just want you to understand it. I'm not going to give a sharh of everything. If you understand a bit what's going on, that's sufficient for me. But then when we go to the Quran, we will be doing nothing but what we just did. But I can only do that when you know the terms. So then when we go back, I can say, yes, this is qasr, this is hatf. And I will say, why do you think it is? And then you can mention these different things. So this is what we are doing. So don't think like I'm going to give an explanation of everything. I just want you to understand a bit so that you have the keys to go to the Balagha of the Quran later on. Okay? يلا بسم الله. الباب الرابع في القصر.
الباب الرابع في التعريف والتنكير.
Yes.
إذا تعلق الغرض بتفهيم المخاطب ارتباط الكلام بمعين فالمقام للتعريف، وإذا لم يتعلق الغرض بذلك فالمقام للتنكير. ولتفسير هذا الإجمال نقول من المعلوم أن المعارف الضمير والعلم واسم الإشارة والاسم الموصول والمحل بألف لام والمضاف لواحد مما ذكر هو المنادي.
I think I have the worst copy on the face of the earth. I really have the worst copy on the face of the earth. I don't know where you got your book from, but I will need the same one. Inshallah. Subhanallah. I'm hearing Al-Bab al-Rabi' fi al-Qasr.
Does it have it maybe later?
Maybe. No.
This is a long chapter.
Yes, 6th chapter.
This is your chapter 6.
No, our chapter 6. This book is chapter 6.
Really? So mine is chapter 6.
Yeah, this is the fourth one in Arabic.
Okay. 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 Okay, can I ask you something, inshallah? Okay. I'm going to rearrange this here for myself. It's easier because now I get lost. And if I just listen to you, I don't have it in front of me, it's more difficult for me to explain. We're going back to this, inshallah. Open on Ilm al-Bayan, which is the lub of the book. Ilm al-Bayan. Okay? We're going to enjoy this. We're going to read the rest, inshallah, without any doubt. But my book is to... From here I know there are no problems. Okay? We don't have a pen, do we? No. Okay, this one you're going to like. We're going to try to do it as quickly as we can. Yalla, bismillah. You have Ilm al-Bayan?
Page 61 in the pink book.
Okay, bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. So in the tashbih, now this is the core. We're diving into the core of the book, right? So we're going to read the rest, but I will need another book, inshallah. So we are talking about a tashbih. What is the meaning of a tashbih? Tashbih is comparing something to something, or something to someone. And there are different ways to compare something to something. And this is what we are going to look at today. So we have a tashbih ilhaqu amrin bi amr, comparing something to something, fi wasfin, because of a common demeanor. We say that? A common demeanor?
Common quality.
Common? Quality.
It's a common denominator.
Common denominator, that's what I was looking for. So tashbih is comparing something to something because they have a common denominator, bi-adah, yani with an instrument, referring to a harf that you are going to use, or a word, or whatever, a letter, li-gharadin, because of a reason. The first one, which is here. So he says, what were the four things? Ilhaqu amrin bi amr, that you compare something to something.
Yes.
Then what did he say? Fi wasfin, because of
a common denominator.
Common denominator. And then what was bi adatin li gharadin, because of a reason. So here Muhammadun kal asadi quwwatan. Okay. We have the mushabbah and the mushabbah bihi. The mushabbah is what? That which has been compared. The mushabbah bihi is that which has been compared with or to. Okay? Muhammad is like the lion in strength. What has been compared? Muhammad. And we're not referring to Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, okay? So Muhammad has been compared. So he is the what? The mushabbah. Then we said bil ada, an instrument, which is the kaf in this case. So this is al ada. No? Then we said there's also the mushabbah bihi, that which it is compared to. Mushabbah bihi. And then the reason or the gharad can be implicit or explicit. In this case it is explicit. No? So this is my gharad. Okay. Now when we are going to look at Allahu Akbar, at coffee falling down and waiting for me to clean it later on, inshallah. So now in the tashbih, not always everything is mentioned. And this is where we are going to give different names to the kind of tashbih we are doing. So sometimes one of these can be what? Can be what? If I say that sometimes we're not going to mention them all, that means that sometimes one can? Hidden? No. Not be present. Taken away. So I can say, for example, Muhammadun kal Asad. Is that clear? Muhammadun kal Asad. What is gone now? The quwwah. This is gone. Sometimes I can say Muhammadun Asad. What is gone now? The ada. So when we are going to look at the tashbih, we are going to see that it can take different forms. So this is the first part where he is going to discuss this, right? So we are going to look at examples, and then inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, we will see what's going on. So he said, at-tashbih ilhaqu amrin bi-amr. Yani is comparing something to something. Because of something they have in common. What we use for this is an instrument, yani an instrument of tashbih, yani adatu tashbih, because of a reason. But the reason should be obvious, like you have the tashbih which is obvious and a tashbih which is only obvious in the for someone without a aql. If I were to say Sulayman kasamakati quwwatan. So then it can even be humiliating. Sulayman is strong as a fish. That doesn't make sense. There is no point. So now when I say strong as a fish, then it might still be obvious. Then maybe you're thinking, okay, maybe it's a whale or whatever. But if I say Sulayman samaka, no, you can understand, but it will never be obvious that I mean in strength. Then people will always go and look for that which is typical for that which one is compared to, which would be, he's like a fish in the water. So the gharad of your tashbih, if the gharad is not mentioned, should be very close to what? To that which you are using to compare it to. If it is far-fetched, then people will understand you in the wrong way, and that's not balagha. Then there's no balagha. Is that clear? So if I were to tell you, Asim kadub. Asimun dub. Asim is a bear. You take that, huh? Yeah, I would too. So what does that mean? Huh? What? He's hairy? No. No. When you think about a lion, you think about strength, no? Yeah. And far-fetched would be that Asim is weak. When in your head, you're thinking that Khabib would be fighting with bears. So that's far-fetched. You see? So it needs to be straightforward. So let us have a look. He said, وَالْأَمْرُ الْأَوَّلِ يُسَمَّى الْمُشَبَّهِ. Yani that which has been compared to something is the mushabbah. That which it was compared to is the mushabbah bihi. The wasfu, it's wajhu shabah. يعني the quwa is the gharat of the tashbih or the wajhu shabah. يعني the reason or that which they are similar in, which is here strength. And the gharat is to show that there is strength. Then يعني the adat can be al-kaf. For example, he says al-ilmu kan-nuri fil hidayah. Al-ilmu, knowledge, is like light in its guidance. Yani exactly like you find your way in your path when there is light, you find your way in your path when there is knowledge. So al-ilmu would be, so now give the terms, mushabbah, mushabbah bi, and so forth. It needs to go quick. Al-ilmu is mushabbah. The kaf is adatu tashbih. An-nur is mushabbah bihi. And then the wajhu shabah is the wajhu shabah is al-hidayah. No? Okay. فالعلم مشبه والنور مشبه به والهداية وجه الشبه والكاف أداة التشبيه. Let's continue. ويتعلق بالتشبيه ثلاثة مباحث. يعني when we investigate the tashbih, yani then there are three things we need to investigate, three matters we need to talk about, three things that we need to research. One is the arkan of the tashbih, meaning the pillars of tashbih. The second is the aqsam of tashbih, the different kinds of forms of tashbih. And then we have the gharad of the tashbih, yani the reason for doing tashbih. المبحث الأول في أركان التشبيه. يعني the first research is about the pillars of tashbih. أركان التشبيه أربعة. يعني the four pillars of tashbih are the mushabbah والمشبه به, and they are called the طرفي التشبيه. The mushabbah and the mushabbah bihi is here. The Asad and Muhammad is the tara, what? طرفا or طرفي التشبيه. Okay. So he says أركان تشبيه المشبه والمشبه به, and you need to recall the طرفي, that they are the طرفا التشبيه. يعني the مشبه and the مشبه به. ووجه الشبه والأداة. So ووجه الشبه هو الوصف الخاص الذي قصد اشتراك الطرفين فيه كالهداية في العلم والنور. يعني the وجه الشبه, يعني that which they are similar in, يعني is mentioned because you want to make a point. Like the guidance is making your point, and you are using for that al-ilm wal-nur. Naam, al-ilm and nur. Yani both of them guide. So the reason why you mentioned what? What is that which they are similar in? Is guidance. Naam, okay. وأداة التشبيه هي لفظ الذي يدل على معنى المشابهة. يعني the أداة التشبيه are all the particles or letters and so forth, or words which what? Which point out that you are doing tashbih. No? Which like al-kaf, كأن, and that which is similar to it. يعني كأن الإنسان or كأن محمدا نور. It is like Muhammad is Nur. So is that clear? So you can use كأن, you can use the kaf and other things. You will see that. يليها المشبه به بخلاف كأن. So here the kaf is always followed by the mushabbah bihi. What?
There's a part missing even in this chapter.
Even in this chapter? MashaAllah. Okay, that's good. Okay, so what is missing?
إما حسيان بعد طرف.
Okay.
نحو الورق كالحرير في النعومة. وأما عقليان نحو الجهل كالموت. وإما مختلفان نحو خلقه. مختلفان نحو خلقه كالعطر.
نعم. And that was it? Okay, good, no problem. We explain that when we give these examples. Okay, وأداة التشبيه هي اللفظ الذي يدل على معنى المشابهة كالكاف وكأن وما في معناهما والكاف يليها المشبه به. He says when you use the kaf, then the mushabbah bihi يعني follows the kaf immediately. بخلاف كأن فيليها المشبه. So when you use كأن, the mushabbah will be mentioned first. Naam? And when you use the kaf, it is the mushabbah bihi. Okay? Give me an example here. Like we said, Muhammadun kal asad. So we said the kaf is the mushabbah bihi, that which is it compared to. So there's the mushabbah bihi comes immediately after the kaf. If now I want to use ka'anna, what will come after ka'anna? The mushabbah. Then I would say ka'anna Muhammad, then asad. Or asadun fil quwwa. I can say that as well. So when the kaf is used, then the mushabbah bihi is mentioned, and wa ka'anna is used first, then the mushabbah is mentioned first. Okay, so don't make that mistake. So here he says كأن الثريا راحة تشبر الدجى لتنظر طال الليل أم قد تعرض. So what is he saying here? Try.
Thuraya, is that the star?
Is that the star? Thuraya?
Yeah,
The what?
you know the one Imam Abu Hanifa?
Yes. Some said it was Salman al-Farisi. Yeah. Yes, both of them definitely. No doubt.
Rahatun either mean calm, it can also mean relaxation. Tashbaha, what tashabbaha means to be compared to. Tuja is the sunrise, or is it the dawn?
So the example he's giving here, barakallahu fikum, is which is here the mushabbah and which is the mushabbah bihi. كأن الثريا, where is the mushabbah bihi and where is the mushabbah here? The thuraya is what? The mushabbah. Why? Because it comes after ka'anna. That's the only point you want to make. As for the meaning of the poems, you will look them up inshallah yourself. That is, you will learn much more like that. Sometimes I will do it, but not always. وَكَأَنَّ تُفِيدُ تَشْبِيهِ إِذَا كَانَ خَبَرُهَا جَامِدًا وَالشَّكَّ إِذَا كَانَ خَبَرُهَا مُشْتَقًّا كَأَنَّكَ فَاهِمٌ. Explain this one, Asim. That's the last one for today.
Okay. If Ka'anna comes and the khabar of Ka'anna is Ism Jamid, which is a noun that hasn't been derived from anything else, it just exists as it is, like a rajul or something, then that would give a comparison. But if it's a mushtaq, meaning that it's been derived from a root or a verb, then it's denoting doubt or confusion.
Like fahim.
Like that.
Because it's derived from?
Al-fahmu.
Nam, and a fahim is?
Someone who understands.
No, what is a fahim in Arabic? Ism fa'il. Nam ka'annaka fahimun. So am I now trying to say it looks like, but I'm not sure? Because it is mushtaq. Is that clear? Because it's mushtaq. So when it is mushtaq, yani then it looks like, I'm not sure. Anyway, we will stop here inshallah. So we're just going to read this one.
We're going to carry on from...
Yeah, we're going to carry on. We're going to read the rest, but I want to... Yes.